Adobe is a proprietary software. AEM, Adobe Experience Manager, is a proprietary software. So to own this thing or to have the software, you need to pay a licensing fee to Adobe. Okay. And that license fee is quite high. Only MNCs and SMBs can afford it. That is the sole reason why there's a resource crunch. Another reason that comes over here is market leader in all the CMSs which are available in the entire IT industry. AEM is the market leader. So combining the resource crunch, combining the market leader thing, you get more job opportunities. And if you see this salary one, this is the salary, average salary with which a fresher starts, and I'm assuming that they have joined a MNC. Okay, so it's somewhere between 3 to 4. So I've taken the median of those values, and that is a 3 lakhs per annum. Assuming you are switching every 2 years, this is the number you can reach within 8 years. And this number is just the minimum number that is there in the market. I know people who are between the bracket of 4 to 6. They're earning from 25 to 35 lakhs per annum. This much scope you have in the market for someone who is a AEM developer at this moment. So, because why I'm talking about salary or money, because anything that you want to learn in IT industry, you have to understand its scope. There are n number of technologies in the market. Few are in demand, few are dead technologies. If you're going to learn about mainframes, if you're going to learn about COBOL, all those languages, they were once popular, but nowadays nobody is using them. So any technology, any upskilling that you are doing, there is always a monetary aspect associated with that. Because ultimately, when you are trying to work, you're trying to earn money. And money can be earned by something which is in demand, not by something which is in demand. So that was the whole agenda of talking about monetary benefits. Along with that, it's quite easy to use. Agreed, there is some learning curve to it. But once you get habitual, it's very easy to use. Integration with Marketing Cloud. So this word, Marketing Cloud, is something, it's an umbrella term, okay, which has many products inside that. All these are products, and this entire thing is called as Marketing Cloud. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, like n number of products are there over here. And this entire product category is called as Marketing Cloud. You have very good community support. And why this community support is good? Because people are ready, or basically people are just like you have Quora, right? Similarly, you have a platform where if you are ever stuck, you can go and post your questions. People are willingly trying to help you out because of one reason, which is Adobe keeps on, like, every quarter, I think, yeah, every quarter, Adobe keeps on recognizing those people by appreciating them with merchandises, with some Amazon vouchers and so on. That is the reason why people like to answer the questions that anyone is asking. Along with that, salary. Salary is something, this is the numbers which I had picked from US data. I could not find anything related to AEM in India. But this is for AEM developers salary in US. 。 Now, coming to this one, the number of companies which are using AEM. So as you can see, this has always been in rise, even though there was the small decline happened, but still see the pushback that is happening over here. So the number of companies which are using AEM is constantly increasing. There are companies which have adapted to AEM. There are companies which are adapting to AEM along with the developments that has happened inside AEM. If you see, the developments are foundational developments. You have n number of supports, n number of services which have been activated now. You can manage and create entire website in AEM. Okay, so to give you an example, this is one of the most simple websites that is present in AEM. Okay. All the components, all the pages which are present over here, all your functionalities, every integration. This is a Google Maps integration, for example. All those things have been done by us, and this is the website purely present in AEM. Okay, you can manage assets inside AEM. So what is asset? It could be your images, it could be your videos, your audio, document, your PDF, and like every digital document, every digital image, audio, video, GIFs, PDF, PPTs, everything is called as asset in AEM. Also, there is an offering for AEM as a cloud service. And the most important, or one of the most important reasons, is a single page applications has also been supported by AEM now. We'll talk about what single page applications are eventually in the sessions. But do you have any questions for me so far? Anyone?
Fine.
Okay. Moving forward. What are the prerequisites for this training? First, you have to understand the basics of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. How do they interact with each other? How do they work? And basics of Java is important to write your backend services. This is on the front end side. And this is on the
Uh, Ashish, one thing, basics of Java in the sense like exactly, I mean, like what are the basics? I mean, like apart from OOPS concepts, what all we need to concentrate on basics of Java, Ashish?
okay. So you have to know what is an interface, what's a class, what are your access specifiers. Okay. How do you implement an interface? How do you extend a class?
Okay. And I mean, like, do they include collections as well?
Yes. Collections, same. If you know it, it's good. When I would be explaining you the things, we are not going to write very heavy code when it comes
Okay.
to the Java part, because few people are proficient in Java, few are not. So I want everyone to be on the same page. And then if I can explain you how the entire flow works, how control passes from AEM to your Java code, how Java code gets executed, then you can develop your skills to write complicated Java logics.
Yeah. We need servlets as well, right?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
The servlets one will also be quite basic because the further you progress in your career, the more experience you gain, the complex code you'll be able to write later. But if I keep
Oh,
it complex at this stage, you may not understand what is happening in the code, or you lose
yes.
interest.
Okay.
Yeah. So basics of
Yeah.
Java, yes, that was a valid question. Know about how do you declare variables, what is class, how does Java work, and along with that, you can talk about mm, annotations, which is important. What are annotations? What do they do? And I think that should be it. Try to develop a little bit of logic. Try to write some Java programs along with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Just focus on them. The basics is more than enough. If you understand how do they work, what do they do, it's fine. And also the
Okay.
target audience. So far, all the people that I have trained, they can be categorized in either of these categories. They can either be a developer who just wants to learn AEM. This is quite rare. People joining only for learning it. There's no other benefit involved. The second one is someone who is working on a CRM and a CMS tool and they want to switch to AEM because AEM is market leader and the hefty salary that it offers. Someone fresher who has been pushed into AEM related projects in the organization and they are trying to learn AEM. Purely backend developers, they just want to know AEM so that they can enter the web domain. And the last categories, React and Angular developers. So these are purely front-end developers who wants to learn AEM because of, again, maybe they have been pushed into the project, maybe because of the salary aspect, either. These are the general 5 categories in which people fall into. And okay, this is the course content. Before we go through the course content, any doubt? This is what we are going to learn from basics. Okay, so go in this order. This will be first, and then this is the second one. So I'll give you a minute, try to read this in order, and then I'll explain why this course has been designed in such a way. Okay, just giving you 1 minute, try to read about it. Okay. So let me just walk you through the course, how we are going to do it. So we'll have a small introduction session. After that, we'll install the AEM application. Once AEM is installed, we would be talking about all the consoles and various things which are there in AEM. Then we'll start with authoring, architecture stack, properties, and so on. And then we'll keep on jumping the complicated topics. And this course has been designed in such a way that if I was a fresher and I was trying to learn AEM, then I would have expected my trainer to teach me this way only, considering all the knowledge that I have at this moment. If 5 years ago or 6 years ago, when I was starting to learn AEM, I would have expected the trainer to teach me in the same order that I have in this course content. Same flow, everything. Okay. Along with the basic concepts, you are going to get familiarized with some advanced concepts related to things which are currently in demand in the market. And also, along with that, the major advantage over here is I do not use pre-written code that, hey, I have all the things written and then I'll just copy paste it. 80 to 85% of the time, I'm not going to use any kind of pre-written code. Okay. So what is the advantage of that? The advantage is once you are writing a code, which is you're writing for the first time in front of everyone, you will get a number of errors popping up. All those errors that will come while typing the code, we will see those errors, we will try to resolve them, and we will try to make it so that we'll try to understand why did that happen. So later on in your careers, if you see those kind of errors happening, you will have the rough idea of why that is happening and what steps you can do to rectify those errors. Along with that, we would be talking about replication, troubleshooting, the environments, compaction, and so on. These are more on the performance side or AEM admin side rather than being on the developer side. Let's talk about system requirements as well. Try to have minimum 8 GB of RAM. Any OS is fine. Disk space again, 120 GB, even if you have less, it works. From software standpoint, you need Java 8 or Java 11. You need Eclipse. You need AEM Java file, which is something which we would be providing to you, and Notepad++ or any text editing software. Any questions so far for me?
Hey Ashish, this is Nikhil. So, may I know the duration of this course?
Yep. So duration is about almost a month. Okay. So if you count the walking, I have to give the session 25 to 30 sessions.
Okay, and how long is the each session?
That varies. Again, there are few topics which are small, few topics are quite large.
Right, on an average,
On an average, it will be
daily.
1 year. Sorry, 1 hour.
Okay, got it. And what about the certification? And also, after this course, will we be able to clear the certification?
No, that's where the trick comes because Adobe's certificates nowadays, what is happening is any certification which is there in the market, rather than asking theoretical questions, everybody's asking a scenario-based questions. Because as per the current certification trend, what the companies which are conducting the certification exams, they are thinking is someone who has actually worked on AEM. They know they would have been in the scenarios that they are asking in the practical exam or in the certification exams. Right. So think it from this perspective that you're trying to learn Java and within a 1 month of training, you are going to crack Oracle certified program, OCJP, Java programmer, sorry. So you'll have to hold on to a little bit. You have to understand things. You have to focus on your development. What happens is theoretical questions you'd be able to answer. The straightforward questions you'd be able to answer. But the practical ones where they'll put you in a scenario that, hey, this is what is happening. How will you choose the solution? What will you do if you are stuck in this situation? So those things get a little bit used to. Once you get deployed in projects, once you do a little bit of hands-on from your side, once you make mistakes, you learn a lot of things, and then you will be able to be ready. So to put a timeline, 3 to 6 months of hands-on experience is required before you can appear for certification. For developer,
Okay.
or for business practitioner, you can achieve it within 2 months, 2.5 months.
Okay. So is that certification descriptive, or is it going to be like choice or option something?
It's MCQ, multiple choice questions, not descriptive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
And business practitioner one, why it's quite easy to clear is because it talks about all the services and everything that exists in AEM. Okay, rather than being on the development side, it's more on the how much information do you have about AEM, so that you understand what all services are there, or if you want to talk about AEM, those things are there in business practitioner. That is easier as compared to developer, but yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Hello, Ashish.
Mhm.
You told that you will be providing AEM jar file. That is
Yes.
only during the course, or after the course we can practice with that?
See, the jar files would be registered with your email IDs.
Okay.
Okay. So yes, you can have a lifelong access as long as Adobe does not do anything with that.
Okay. Is it a demo version?
No, it's a full-fledged everything version, but it's just that you cannot use it for commercial purpose.
Okay.
For your personal learning, you can use it, and you should not share it with anyone, because
Yeah.
as I mentioned, it would be registered under your email ID.
Okay.
Okay. So if it is registered under your email ID and you share it with someone, and that XYZ person by any chance does something or use it for commercial purpose, then you would be in trouble.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Obviously, the other person is going to be, but you will also be there because it's under your name.
Yeah.
Okay. And any other questions? Okay, great. Now, let's talk about introduction to AEM. So, I told you that AEM is a CMS, okay, content management system. So, what's a content management system? First of all, if you see the full form, okay, so this is content, and we have already seen, you would have already heard about management systems. You have visitor management system, you have record management system, you have a number of management systems which are in market. So what's a new thing, content management system? So first of all, let's understand what is content. So your content is image, audio, video, your GIFs, your text, and you have if a number of things are there in content. All these things, any software or any software application or a set of programs which are formed into a single software which will help you to manage all these assets or all these content, manage and create all these contents, those softwares are called as CMS. Now, what kind of CMSs which are available in the market? So you have WordPress, Sitecore, Joomla, Documentum, Alfresco, Interwoven, OpenText, and so on. And when it comes to history, AEM was originally incepted with this one, CQ5. It was originally called as CQ5. And it was a product of some other company called as Daysoft. But after 10 years of its inception, Adobe acquired this CQ5 and they renamed it to Adobe Experience Manager. And this is why if you go in the market and you search for AEM developers, few people still refer to AEM developers as CQ5 developers. This is just a small history, why sometimes you would be called a CQ5 developer as well. Any questions? Moving forward, the marketing cloud that we talked about. So marketing cloud is an umbrella term which has all these products: Adobe Analytics, Adobe Primetime, Adobe Campaign, Adobe Experience Manager, Adobe Media Optimizer, Adobe Social, Adobe Audience Manager, Adobe Target. What all these things do, they are separate products, each have their own usage, but AEM, this product which you have over here, this forms the base of everything, because this is the product which lets you create and manage the website. Okay, and rest of the analytics, Primetime, Campaign, Target, and everything, they gets integrated on the top of the website. So for these to work, you need a website. So that is the reason why the popularity of AEM developers as compared to any of these developers is more. Because unless you have a website, you cannot integrate either of these products with that. So there might be a situation when the customer is not using either of these products except for AEM. Any question in this? And then let's move forward. Now, this is where things get a little bit, I would say, a little bit tricky, I would say. What happens is not tricky, it's more on the, because now everything is theoretical today. So majority of the things may or may not make sense to the people who are trying to understand AEM for the first time. And that's absolutely okay, because you do not have any prior experience, but eventually down the sessions, whatever we are learning, whatever we are trying to have in this demo session, you will see everything in action. First thing is, the jar which I'll give you, okay? Jar file which I'll give you, it can run in two modes. One is author. So what does author does? It's the development environment, or we as a AEM developer, 90% of our time would be spent over here. Okay. Now, this is 90% of the time would be spent over here. Developers will create the components, the dialogues, templates, everything. They'll write the script, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and everything. And all these things would be tested, written, calibrated in author environment. Okay. And for the best practice, author environment should be running on the even number code. This is one. Second, you have something called as publisher. Publisher. Publisher environment is something which will hold, let's say you have developed the code. Okay. Whatever code you have written, let's say this is the code that you have written. Publisher will only hold this code for you. Stable code that you have written, no. That code would be pushed to publisher, and that's what publisher will hold. Any development that you are doing, you can decide what has to be pushed. So publisher is essentially just a container, nothing else. It's a container. It's an empty box which does not have any code of its own. It's just the jar AEM running in publisher mode, and whatever custom jar or custom code that I'm writing, I'm developing, I have to push that custom code from author to publisher so that publisher can hold it and publisher can give it to the end user. Anything that has to be changed in publisher, let's say you want to change this, you cannot directly change it over here. Things has to be changed first in author, and then those changes has to be pushed in publisher. And another usage of publisher is, or the only usage of publisher is, this is the one which would be used to give the content to the end user. Okay. And publisher should be running on odd number code. Any questions in this? Okay. Now that we saw author and publisher, let's understand the environment setup now. When I use the word environment setup, what I mean is you will have 3 environment or maybe 4 environments in the project you are working. What is the purpose of environments? One environment is your dev. Then you have QA. And then you have production. Okay. So what does they do is they'll simply, anything that has to be production is the most important environment that you have. Production is something, let's say, the website that we spoke about. The data that is being rendered on this page. All this data is coming from the production environment. So whatever end users see, they see the data from the production environment only. This is the most important, because if this gets down, your website will stop functioning. Your website won't work. So what happens is any task that you are developing, let's say this is the website, and tomorrow I have to add a new section over here. There is a task which is given to me that, hey, this is the website. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They want a 7th menu item in this list. And that is about us. 7th menu item is about us. So how does the development flow? First, you will have a local environment, local as in something which is running only on your local machine. Some jar file along with the custom code. You will develop something over there. Okay, things are working fine. You will commit it and get as a version control system that you know. Once this code is committed, this code would be deployed in dev environment. Dev people will check if everything is working fine. Then this code will go to QA environment. This is where your testers and quality assurance team comes into picture. They'll check the code. They'll decide whether things are working fine or no. All the acceptance criteria are tested. So your testing team will test, and once they give a go ahead, things would be pushed to production. Okay. So in either of these dev, QA, and production, you are going to have this kind of setup. You're going to have one or two authors, one or n number of publishers, and then in front of that, you will have a dispatcher. Okay. And along with the dispatcher, you will have something called as, basically dispatcher would be present in a web server. And after that, you will have an end user. So task of dispatcher is something called as caching. How many of you have heard this word cache? Okay. Anyone else who has heard about this word? What does it do? What does it? Guys, speak up, please. For Shri, she has a baby next to her, so she cannot speak. But others, please.
Hello, Ashi. Me
Yeah.
also.
Okay. Caching is basically, it's a fast memory kind of thing, you can say, fast storage service, which will make a replica of the pages that are present in production publisher. They would be cached. So let's say end user is requesting for abc.com. This is the user. This person is requesting for abc.com. The request will first hit your web server. If abc.com's document, whatever it is supposed to load, is present in the cache, dispatcher will return the request back to the end user, and end of story. If this cache is, let's say, abc.com is not present in the cache, then dispatcher will forward the request publisher, because publisher holds the stable code from author. It will definitely have the abc.com. Publisher will process the request and give it to dispatcher. If we have allowed dispatcher to cache certain documents, dispatcher will cache it. If not, dispatcher will just share it with the end user. And this is how the content would be served to the end user. And this is what I meant when I said content is served to the user from publish instance. Along with this caching, dispatcher also does something called as load balancing. So what is load? Load is something which is the traffic or the number of users that are trying to log into your website. So let's say each publisher is able to handle 500 requests. There are
Yeah, okay, bro. Yeah.
so if there are 3 publishers, and at one moment of time, let's say 900 users are logged in or try to log into the application. So all these 900 requests would first hit the dispatcher, and dispatcher will almost equally distribute the load to each publisher. Okay. So it will distribute the load to each publisher. So each publisher would be handling approximately 300 requests when there are 900 requests. Similarly, if the number of requests from 900 decreases to 600, then at that time, each publisher would be handling 200 requests. Okay. Similarly, if there are, let's say, 1500 requests are coming, so each publisher would be handling 500. So how does the task gets allocated to each publisher? That happens because of the load balancing feature of the dispatcher. We will see all these things in action later on. But for now, this is just the theory that we have. Any question in this? Let's understand one more thing. How content would be served to the end user. We'll have user. They'll request for a website from dispatcher. And as we talked about, if dispatcher has the cache, it will check and it will send the data back to the end user and end of story. Nothing will happen. If dispatcher does not have the required document, it will go to the publisher. Publisher will process the document. Okay. Some processing will happen over here. And the document would be generated. That document would be given to the dispatcher. Again, in dispatcher, we write rules which will tell dispatcher whether some document can be cached or not. If the document can be cached, then dispatcher will store it in the cache memory. Dispatcher will store the document and then send it to the end user. If it is not allowed to cache, dispatcher will just take the document and just give it to the end user. End of story. And in this entire process, okay, the author is not involved. Author is sitting idle. Nothing is happening from the author's side. Guys, any question in this? If there are no questions, then let's move forward. This is the last slide that we have. It talks about templates and components. So how many of you have heard about template? What is it? Or have you used template before? Anyone?
Yeah, template. Template is nothing but so throughout the web application, we have some static information, right?
Okay.
Or so that information we can include in template, like a header, footer, or else
Okay.
it is a combination of components we can say.
Okay. Perfect. Any other
It
thoughts?
is a blueprint of the page template.
Okay.
Yeah, for creating a page, we need to use it. I mean, we need to select the template. Without selecting a template, we can't.
Okay. Okay. Any other thoughts?
So template is the placeholder. We can drag the components and all. And so if you want to create any page, we should have at least a template in place.
Okay. Okay. So all the answers, see over here, there is no right or wrong answer. The only thing is the template that you see. Okay. Template is fixed, or let's say template is something which has a predefined layout. Like, so you would have been building your resume. So once you build a resume, what do you search for? You search for resume template, right? They give you a structure. You try to use that structure to create your similar fashion. When it comes to AEM or in general template, a predefined layout which we use to create our pages. This is one template which is present. The template talks about one header component on the top, one breadcrumb, one navigation component, one text component, one image component over here. And what are components? Components are reusable modules, can be dragged and dropped on the page again and again. I have to see the components are. Let's go to YouTube. Give you a very good idea. This one, you have video basically image. You have the title, you have the name, how many views, and when was it uploaded. Similarly, you have the video, logo, title, who had name of the channel, who had uploaded, when was it uploaded. Same is the case with other things as well. You inspect this. If you have not done the inspection beforehand, inspecting a component, it might get a little bit overwhelming. Do not get scared of this code. This is just part and parcel of learning things. You see, the entire skeleton is going to remain same. So if I hover over this one, if I hover this one, and so on. But only content which is inside the HTML is changing. This is what your component does to you in AEM. You will have the entire thing. Okay. This can be one card component, can be dragged and dropped on the page as many times as required. Okay. And then you can, with the help of dialogues, you can decide what image has to be shown, what would be the author, or what would be the title, what would be the logo, and so on. This is the reusable part which I'm talking about. Let's say you have a header. Okay. Header is something which can be dragged and dropped on the page as many times as you want, because header is going to be consistent across all the pages. That is, again, just a brief of what components are. Any questions? Not only related to this is the last slide that we have. So if you have any questions, this is the right. Guys, there are no questions, no doubts around this.
Hi Ashish, when can we do the installations of jar file, and which version we are going to use?
So we are going to use 6.5.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And come again.
Yeah. When can we do the installation? Like, yeah, when you will provide the.
Yeah. So once I get your confirmation from the organizer, I'll have to enter your email IDs. So that takes 24 to 48 hours.
Okay. You will. Okay, you will share the jar file to particular email ID, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Hi, Ashish.
Hi.
This recording session is shared with us at the end of course or?
No, every day. It will be
Every day.
recorded and shared. Yes.
Okay.
Hi Ashish, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, so my name is Mahmood. I'm from USA. I'm from California.
Mhm.
So just now I tried to log into the class. So did the class had started like long back, because they told me it's gonna start at 9:30 p.m. EST.
So this was just a demo session. It was more like understanding.
No,
Okay.
Ashish, actually, no, Ashish, what is happening, previously it was a daylight saving. That's the reason, I mean, like maybe 2 months back, it was,
Okay.
9:30 EST. Now it is not, it is a normal timing only. Like usually on EST, it will start at 8:30 only, not 9:30. Even I
Oh,
am also from US.
did the daylight saving time have started?
No, like now daylight saving is not there. Now it's like class will start at 8:30 p.m. EST, Mohammed, in US.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, thank you. Ashish, I have a few more questions for you.
Yes, please.
So is this training is gonna be a basic training and is gonna be an advanced training?
It's a combination of both. Like
Okay.
again, so what are you exactly looking for, Mohammed?
Basically I'm looking for, like I know the installations and I know the basic part. So I'm looking like some in-depth, drive to the subject.
Okay. So when
Yeah.
you say that you know the basics, can you just give me one of like few topics so that I get a little bit more clarity?
Basics is, like creating the component, navigating through the CRXD light,
Mhm.
and navigating through the templates, workflows, navigating through the dam. uh, yeah,
Yeah.
these things.
So those navigations again, navigations is fine that you're familiar with this thing. But what is the purpose? How do you, let's say, you have to upload something, you have to delete something, you have to write the metadata. Like, are you aware about those as well?
Metadata, no, but the uploading the files
Yeah,
and
that is more on the
extend.
process side rather than being on the logical side, right?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So the it's gonna be like a 1 month training.
Yes, approximately.
Oh, okay. And one more thing, like, are you gonna cover the topics of solar also in this training?
No. Solar, leucine, no.
Okay. Okay. So you are gonna cover the AEM topics, and you are gonna cover through the the code push pull, all those things from the Git, how to push the code from the Git, and how to build the files, how to clone the code. So you are gonna explain everything, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I can show
Thank-
it. See, I can show you things, push, pull, and everything. But then if I start explaining everything, how those things work, then that would be a separate training altogether about Git. Main focus will always be on AEM. I
Okay.
can definitely show you how things would be pushed, how you would be working.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Ashish.
Okay, thanks, Mahmood. Any other questions, guys? Perfect. Then thank you so much for your time.
Ashish, 1 second.
Yeah.
Like, is there any chance, like, to explain related to JNU test cases in this AEM JNU test cases?
So no, we do not cover unit test cases over here, but definitely that is something which we can try to accommodate if time permits.
Yeah, sure, Ashish.
Okay.
Yeah, usually for AEM also, we like nowadays it's going for cloud, right? Everyone is like expecting JUnit test cases also. That's the reason I'm just asking. I'm just
Yes,
asking
you're
the
right.
group.
You're right. That's why I
Yeah.
did know that we won't do it.
Okay.
It's a valid ask, and definitely we'll try to accommodate that as well.
Yeah, at least basics of JUnits, AEM JUnits.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Ashish.
And she has a question. Publisher responsible for security testing needed for AEM instances. Okay. So when it comes to security testing, this is generally done by Adobe. Okay, if you're subscribed to their AMS services, they will take care of the security testing for you. But most of the time, see, nowadays we do not go for on-premises. Okay, so when you have something which is hosted in cloud, maybe you have options like you have GCP, you have Azure, you have AWS. And majority of the time it would be on AWS. So AWS itself has its own like security tests which are present in place. Also, you do have WAF which can be implemented over here, avoid all those outside security issues, or outside bot access can be stopped. Along with that, you can enable the encryption for the data in setting and data in transit. So all those things can be enabled. And when you say what level of security testing is needed, so when it comes to level, there's no specific level. You can scrutinize it as much as you want, or till you can scrutinize your AEM applications till the time or till the people or your people who are there in the organizations, they're happy with the security results. There's no hard and fast level which you have to stop. Okay, any other questions? Okay, perfect. Then thank you so much everyone for joining and giving us this time. Okay. Have a great rest of your day or night. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.